Queen Elizabeth II became patron of the Royal Voluntary Service in 1952, just a few months after she ascended the throne.
Well, Catherine Johnson is the CEO of the Royal Voluntary Service and joins us now. Thank you very much indeed for your time. And this was something very close to the Queen's heart.
It certainly was. So firstly, huge condolences to the royal family and to the royal household who will be supporting them ably during this really sad time. So as you said, you know, the Queen, the lovely Queen, our patron, she took on Royal Voluntary Service in 1952. So we've been with her a long time and we've seen her support us in so many different ways. She's been out on endless visits, hosted endless receptions, and most recently in 2021, she actually did a Zoom call to thank all the volunteers for all the work they've been doing during the pandemic. And in 2012, we were joined by the Queen Consort as well. And between the two of them, it is clear to see that volunteering is at their heart. It's part of who they are, their DNA. And that is obviously much of the conversation now about the Queen's service. And you know, just how she's touched all of our hearts and how she inspires all of us to be the better person, to be ourselves and to give to our community.
Catherine, do you have a proudest or happiest memory?
There are so many. I mean, if I may indulge in two. So we celebrated her Platinum Jubilee this year, and we hosted an event over the Platinum Jubilee weekend with Platinum Champions, and her support and the support of the Queen Consort and actually of King Charles, our new King Charles III, actually made it so special for the hundreds and if not thousands of volunteers who could see the monarchy recognising the contribution that volunteers make to society. So that was one very proud moment. My other very proud moment is actually hosting the Zoom call. I don't think I have ever been as nervous to host Her Majesty the Queen on a Zoom call with the Queen Consort, with a number of volunteers who I decided not to script, because volunteers speak from their heart. And we had a wonderful half an hour together where she talked just so lovingly and so intelligently and with such warmth about the value that volunteers bring and that we wouldn't get through as a society without them. So I think those two are up there, but there are so many. And at Royal Voluntary Service, former WRVS, we will just miss her so much. It's the end of an era and the beginning of a new era with King Charles III, who, quite bizarrely, I was fortunate enough to work with for 7 years when I was the Chief Executive of Samaritans. So again, I am hugely excited by the new era and the fact that there will be continuity from Her Majesty to King Charles. I think we are very fortunate to have that legacy.
Talking of the future, do you expect perhaps the Queen Consort, Camilla, to take over this particular role, or will it be King Charles at the head of this?
I don't think we can speculate at the moment. And do you know what? Royal patronage is a real privilege, and it has to work for the royal household and for their ambition and the areas that they're very connected to. So I think we just all have to wait patiently now to see what was going to happen. But I would be very happy to maintain royal patronage with whoever they see fit.
Catherine, you mentioned that while you were at the Samaritans, Prince, now King Charles, was a patron. So, my goodness, you know more about working with royalty than most. Do you have a memory to share of our new king when he was Prince Charles and working with you at the Samaritans?
Yeah, so there was a wonderful occasion where he came to hand over some keys to one of my branches, I won't say which one, for a minibus that we had raised money for. And the logistics were heinous. He was doing it in the middle of a very, very busy schedule. We lost the keys. We couldn't find the keys. He actually handed over my front door keys to the branch while we all kept a straight face. And he did it with such humility and such humour. It was amazing. But the thing about our new King Charles is he absolutely has volunteering, as does the Queen Consort, at the heart, at their heart. They understand how individuals, when they come together, see the events of the pandemic and see what's happening now in our society and what's happened with the Platinum Jubilee. They understand how people coming together create stronger bonds, create better connectivity, create a stronger civic society. And I think that's what will carry us all through, this very, very sad time, but also into the future as we, come out of the pandemic, we deal with some of the other, challenges that we've got ahead of us. So, he, again, has learnt very well from his mother, as he has mentioned several times already in many of his very dignified speeches. And, I do think we are very privileged. I will be at the funeral on Monday. And again, I'm very privileged to have been invited. And some of the Royal Voluntary Service, WRVS Services Welfare Team will be marching in the Civil Contingencies Parade as well. So, we will do everything we can to mark the sad passing of Her Majesty and to welcome, King Charles III to his new reign.
Catherine, thank you very much indeed for your time and joining us here on GB News.
Wonderful stories there. Wonderful human stories, yes. Catherine.
And, of course, as we get confirmation about the patronage of all these various royal bodies, we'll update you. But let's just tell you what's been going on in Belfast, because we understand now that the Speaker of the Stormont Assembly, Alex Maskey, has given a message of condolence to King Charles III and the Queen Consort from the people of Northern Ireland. He said, King Charles